take a look at the Diatone Mamba, the basic F722 MK3 flight controller, no Wi-Fi. I don't need that. But we're gonna take a look at what we get and compare to what you usually get when you buy the whole stack.
So, you've probably seen some unboxing and reviews of this board, usually bundled with the whole stack. That is the 4-in-1 ESC. And there is some minor differences. Note, however, this is the basic edition, not the Pro. We got no Wi-Fi, so no speedy B. We have to use the old-fashioned USB, or USB-C in this case. So we get the very much appreciated pinouts. I definitely like these printed out for me. I hate having to look these up online. So very basic, still pretty much everything you need to know. I am, by the way, going to place this into my currently experimental build based on the TBS Source 1 B3 frame, mainly because I really like this frame, and also I'm going to try this out with different flight controllers on their stock rates and stock PIDs, and that would give a pretty fair comparison of the features and settings that you get included. So one difference I noted here, because I watched the other unboxing videos and reviews, apart from this being basic, you don't get the sort of PCB printed out pinouts. Oh, this is sticky. You get some sort of... honestly, I don't know what this is. Do you guys know? It looks like a sticker, but it says ground right here, so I'm guessing this is some kind of anti-interference shield. Interesting. We also get a bunch of these standoffs, and there's a reason we get different kinds. The explanation is written right here. So the blue ones, they are soft, and the violet ones are hard. I don't know. There's pretty much not much to it. You get the USB-C port, the ESC 4-in-1 connector, and according to the diagram here, what's most interesting for me is it actually has I2 square, and I tend to use that with my GPS module. I know it has some kind of, inbuilt compass, but I prefer like a physical real one. So we get one thing I miss about my usually like daily driver is the Maytech 405 standard edition. I bought like 3 of those. I like to keep spares. I like that one, but one thing that I've really been annoyed about is the fact that it doesn't supply 5 volts. You have to have like an external BEC, or when you program it you have to power it off USB. This, however, provides 5 volts, and you also have 9 volts for your BTX and TX3 ground, and you have for LED. The main difference, I think, between this one and the Pro version, besides the fact that this one doesn't have Wi-Fi, which I honestly couldn't care less about, is that you do not have the 4 separate LED controllers. I don't use those anyway. I've been using like a Maytech LED controller for a while. I don't see the point anymore. I mostly use the buzzer and perhaps one LED. I like the pinout, however. It's kind of logical. Yeah, this is the for your compass, the I2 square bus. Ground 5 volt, 9 volts, so you have like 9 volts in 2 different places. So you have an RSSI F port. Well, that's pretty much it. Let's hook it up to Betaflight and see how it looks like. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys I have some problems actually with the actual USB connection. I don't know if you can hear this in the background, but Windows is like detecting it and like, how do you say, undetecting it. I've tried different USB-C cables, and so far this is the one that's been able to connect at all. So I'm actually thinking there's something wrong with the soldering of this connector, because you see, I get power, but depending on how I angle. Okay, now it's not working. Depending on how I angle the actual connector, I have to pull it down. It connects or it doesn't connect, so I don't know what's up with that. Also guys, I really do apologize. My screen capture seems to be working like against me today. It doesn't work at all, so you have to bear with this very well. Okay, I'm just gonna go through what we have here. So we have a lot of UARTs, and that's gonna be useful. I'm gonna use one for the GPS, of course one for my probably the tracer module, and like other stuff, smart audio and stuff like that. Out of the box it comes configured for D-Shot 600. That's what I'm gonna use. That's pretty much all to it. Let's see about the pit tuning, because this is what we're gonna test in the field tomorrow. So this is the stock pit profile 1 and the rate profile 1. Let's see how that works out. Okay, so not much more. We have the OSD, of course. Everything standard. This is Betaflight. So, and by the way, it comes pre-installed with Betaflight as of today. It's May. No, sorry, it's June 21. 4.2.4, and the target is Diatone Mamba F722 I2 square. Okay, so here we are back in my backyard. What I usually do when I try a new flight controller is I start out in angle mode, and that is simply because I want to know how well the built-in gyro handles vibrations, and in this case we were provided with 2 different options for soft mounting. I ended up using the blue soft mounts, and it gave me like good feeling. I felt confident that the gyro was not picking up too much noise. When I descend like this, I of course do that in order to see how much of prop wash we get. Then we start PIDs and the rate profile. That could use a little work, but of course Diatone, they can't know what kind of quad you're gonna use, so it's, as we know, it's in the end it's very individual how you need to tune it, but it could also be, I find it useful to, you know, just get a feel for how they decided to make the tune. In this case it was pretty much standard Betaflight, but I know other manufacturers that tried to if they target their product towards like FPV racing or freestyle, they often like tweak a little, at least a little, on the pitching and the weights. So that's pretty much it. My final conclusions and thoughts about this board, apart from being, in my case, just bad luck. It was a defective USB-C connection. Diatone will of course fix that. They will send me a replacement unit. But other than that, it felt like a very solid board. It was easy to solder, which is always a plus. The solder pads were not only clearly marked out, they were also easy to reach, and yeah, overall very, very solid experience.